Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I don't take this for granted because man, in this Uganda, affording data and in this economy currently, woof, it's a sacrifice. Well, I don't take it for granted. I appreciate so much. Well, in today's video, we are talking about guilt. How do you get rid of guilt? I know if you really have a stable consciousness, if you take count of the things that have happened or that you have done, at some point you've felt guilty. My name is Tabitha. Thank you so much for being here. Hearts. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to show that you support me and that you really want me to go ahead.
Yes, come on, shorty, let's go. Girl, I see you over there in the corner of the dance floor, and I know you're acting shy, looking at the corner of your eyes. So I pick my heart up off the floor.
Guilt is when you're feeling responsible of something that has happened or something that happened. If you feel responsible that it is your fault, you're the reason as why that thing happened, that is guilt. You're regretting, if I wish I hadn't said this, I wish I hadn't done this wouldn't have happened. Yeah, that's practically guilt. Guilt is bad because, number one, guilt can make you feel defeated, like you are some sort of loser. Guilt can make you feel anxious, can make you feel depressed. That is what guilt does to people. It eats you up. It's like it's a monster feeding on you, a parasite feeding on you. But if you overcome it, you can live a happy life without judgment of yourself, without feeling bad, without feeling out of place, without feeling like an outcast. Yeah, if you overcome it. So we are going to look at 4 steps of how to overcome guilt, how to get rid of guilt. 4 steps of how to get rid of guilt. And step number 1 is own your mistake. Acknowledge your mistake. Usually guilt, why we are saying it's a mistake, because it's something that you did not intend to do but you did, and now you want to overcome it. You want to make amends to this. So that's why you're saying it's a mistake. If you own it up, if you acknowledge that it is my fault, it was my fault for this thing to have happened, well, that is step number 1 of you recovering from the guilt. The moment you keep in denial and then you're like setting up all these occurrences and trying to accuse other people for your own fault, this is when it keeps on eating you up. It keeps on living with you for a longer time. So if you do own it up, like take the role, own it up, acknowledge it, and you're like, this is my fault, I did this and I am really sorry and I regret having done it, well, that is you recovering from the guilt. You're now, at this point, you're allowed to feel guilty of doing something. Step number 2, understand why you did the mistake. Understand what you did. If you know the reason as to why that caused you to do something, that caused you to say all those bad words to someone, that caused you to crash in a car accident, probably you were drunk driving and you're like, oh my god, I was drunk driving, that's why this happened and I must own it up. Probably you ran away, or there's somewhere that you dodged around, or if you cheated a test and somehow you didn't get caught but it's eating you up, or if your mom left you a responsibility like take care of your young sister who's sick, give her medicine, and you didn't give her the medicine because probably you were playing game. So you own it up. You're like, this happened, my sister got a severe disease out of what had happened to her because of my fault, because of my irresponsibility, because I was playing game, because I was drunk driving, because I was know the reason as to why you did what you did. So after you know the reason as to why I did this, it's step number 2 of recovery, and you can easily recover if you do go through these steps. Acknowledge your mistake, know the reason as why you did it, and then step number 3, make amends. Making amends simply is if you reform, you find ways of maneuvering through. If it is cheating a test, learn to read prior the test. If it is like drunk driving, know that if you're drunk, you're not supposed to drive. Simple. If it is anything, know how to overcome, know how to not do the same thing again. That is the only way you can get rid of guilt. You keeping in denial and saying it's not my fault, what, that can't help you. It will just keep on eating you up for a longer time. Your consciousness is actually affected. It is suffering because of the denial and the. So if you make amends, you learn from your mistake and you promise yourself not to do something like that again. Go ask for forgiveness, pray about it. Then step number 4, forgive yourself. I know usually sometimes when you're guilty of something, people are like, pray about it, God will forgive you. If you caused an accident, pray about it, God will forgive you, and if God forgives you, you're good to go. Yes, God will forgive you, but the moment you do not forgive your own self, the guilt is going to still stay there. The regret, the I wish I hadn't is going to still stay there. It's going to eat you up for a longer time. So forgive yourself and lift the burden off your shoulder. Here you can easily, live guilt-free. Forgive yourself. Tell yourself, I am sorry. This will never happen again. Forgive yourself, mainly. Tell yourself it happened, it was my fault, and I am sorry to your own self, because before you apologize to the person that you might have caused the accident to, or someone that was affected by whatever you did, or you yourself, like, what happened, it's all your fault. If you do not forgive yourself and you keep on like, it was my fault, I wish I hadn't, what, just forgive yourself. Let it go. Let the burden go. Lift it off your shoulder. You're not supposed to carry it for a lifetime. Forgive yourself. When you do all these 4, I'm sure you'll maneuver through. You'll get through the guilt and you'll live guilt-free. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe.